Hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard. I am Anshul, your CAIIB mentor, and today I'm here to take your demo class for the BRBL paper for the November December Foundation 3.0 course. So in today's session, we'll be discussing about the strategy for our BRBL paper, how we are going to approach, how we are going to strategize our preparation for the upcoming exam. So if you're preparing for the November December cycle, then now is the time that you should start your preparation. All right, if you haven't yet started, then because we don't have much time left in our hands, so now we should gear up, give our 100% towards our preparation. So we'll be discussing today what all you're going to get in the Foundation 3.0 course, what is the syllabus of the BRBL paper, the types of questions that are asked, module wise, how the units are divided, each and everything about your paper. So if we talk about this course, this is the CAIIB Foundation Batch 3.0 for the November December 2025 cycle, which will be in complete English medium. This means your content as well as explanation will be in English. So if you are comfortable in English language, then this is the course for you. You will get 200 plus live and 50 plus recorded classes. Your complete syllabus will be covered here. You will also get 24/7 unlimited access to the recorded sessions. So if you miss the live classes due to any reason you're not able to attend them, then you can watch the recorded videos at any time. 100% coverage of all your four papers, and unit wise we will be first building a strong base, then we will move on to the advanced level preparation. So first we will module wise cover all the units, then we will focusing on our exam, develop the exam specific knowledge that will help you qualify the paper in this very cycle. Apart from this, you will also get access to the community where you can interact with your fellow aspirants and teachers. So if you have any doubts, any queries, you can raise your queries there. You will also get access to 250 plus downloadable class notes. So you can use these notes for your revision. Once, what we suggest is once we are done with the live class, you download the PDF notes, take out 10 to 15 minutes and you just go through the notes so that all the concepts they become clear to you, and the course will be valid till the end of your CAIIB December examination 2025. So these are the highlights for the Foundation Batch 3.0. Now if we discuss about our strategy, like we said, BRBL paper in particular is something which is completely new. You will be studying about the different acts and the different laws which are very important for your banking. Like we have the FEMA, we have the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, then the Surfaci Act, IBC, how the Lok Adalats work. So these topics are something that you have not studied before. But again, the complete paper is very interesting. You'll be studying about so many acts, their provisions, how do they apply to banking. So first we will form a strong base. Conceptual clarity is a must when you are preparing for the BRBL paper because there are so many things to understand. If you are just trying to remember them, mugging up, then you won't be able to understand. So what is important is you understand the concepts. We will understand them through diligent and consistent learning. We will first form a strong foundation and then we will move on to the advanced level preparation where we'll be solving all the types of questions. So you'll be seeing multiple selection questions, scenario based questions, case study. Your preparation should be such that just looking at the case study you know what is the question about. The answer should completely strike in your mind. All right, so this should be our strategy, building a strong foundation and then moving on to advanced level preparation. Now the types of questions. Although the BRBL paper is completely theoretical, there is no numericals that are asked, but the tough part here are the case study. The case study questions are very lengthy. They are time consuming. So if you don't understand the concepts, you are going to waste a lot of time understanding the question. So it is important that you practice the case study questions and you understand the concepts. Other than that, you will find fact based direct MCQs with 4 options. You will also have statement type questions where multiple selection will be the format, and questions with no options are also asked. Other than that, the basic pattern is the same for all the papers. 100-mark paper, 2 hours. Now, the questions can be more or less, but the maximum marks are 100. Now you need to score 50 plus to qualify the paper. So your strategy again should be based on which topics are important. To understand that, again you will have to complete the whole syllabus. Talking about the syllabus, completing the syllabus should be your first priority. Do not skip any module thinking that it is not important. All the 4 modules are important, and the institute is asking questions from all the modules. You cannot think that we'll be studying only 50% of the syllabus and we'll be able to qualify the exam. So completing the whole syllabus is very important. Then practicing mock test. Like I said, to correctly answer all the case studies, it is important that you have a practice. It will also help you evaluate your performance. So if you're not able to answer questions from a particular topic, you need to re-revise it. Notes are important. Exam specific notes. If you refer to all the notes that are provided, then that will be enough for your preparation. On the other hand, if you refer to the Macmillan books, for example, definitely nothing will come out of it. But the content which is given there is somewhat not easy to understand. So the notes that we are going to use will be exam specific. We will highlight the important points. You'll get the flow charts. You'll get the important points which are marked already, so that you need not worry about making your own notes. And finally, revision is very important. To understand the concepts thoroughly, it is important that you utilize your weekends to revise. So once we are, let's say, done with a module, or once we are, let's say, done with some important chapters, it is important that you revise them so that you remember all the important things. Right? So this should be your strategy for the BRBL paper. Coming back to the syllabus, there are 4 modules. Module A, which is the regulations and compliance. So how does the banking regulation work? It is given under 2 acts, the Banking Regulation Act and the RBI Act. Right? So the organization of bank, capital requirement, reserve requirement, what are the prudential guidelines that the banks need to follow, how the NBFCs are structured, how the public sector banks, private sector banks, cooperative banks work. All of these things are covered under Module A. There are 7 units that you need to study in Module A. Module B are the important acts. Again, 7 units which cover the acts related to banking, like the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. What role does the banks play in reporting some suspicious transaction? Negotiable Instruments Act, like how do the checks, bills of exchange, how do the banks make sure that they are genuine? Acts like these are covered in the Module B. Again, 7 units. Module A and B together, we can say, are comparatively easy. The tougher modules are Module C and D. C, important acts and laws related to the banking operations. So we'll be studying about the recovery of loans. So how does the SARFAESI Act work? How does the IBC code work? Then the RDB Act. Apart from that, how are we going to study about the Lok Adalats under the Legal Services Authorities Act? These acts are there in Module C. And then Module D relates to those acts which are of commercial nature. Like, what is a valid contract? So you'll be studying about the Indian Contract Act, how the sales of goods work, the Companies Act, limited liability partnership. Out of these 4 modules, the most important module is Module D. if we talk about the weightage, so around 35 mark questions you can expect from module D. Also, maximum case studies are asked from this module. Then second on a priority list should be module C, again around 30 mark questions. Module B and module A somewhat hold 20 to 25 or 15 to 20. Like this, the weightage is divided. But again, if you just think that you'll be covering module C and D and then you'll be good to go, this will somewhat lower your chances to get a good score. Why? Because questions are tough. What if the institute asks something that is completely out of our comprehension? So, to avoid such a situation, it is important that we study the easier modules as well. So, module A and module B are also equally important. Coming to the chapters, like we said, module A has 7 units covering the legal framework of regulation of banks, control over organization, regulation of banking business, returns, inspection, winding up the different types of banks in India, NBFCs, and the financial sector legislative reforms. So, the Banking Regulation Act, RBI Act, powers of the central government over the banks, how NBFCs they work, what is the scale based revised categorization of NBFCs. So the NBFCs that fall under the base layer, upper layer, middle layer, and top layer. And finally, what were the recommendations made by the Narasimham Committee for the financial sector reforms? How the public sector banks or the private sector banks are set up, their minimum capital requirement, paid up capital. These things are covered in module A. Mostly fact based questions are asked. Module B, like we said, those acts which are related to banking, like Prevention of Money Laundering Act. How do the banks they report certain transactions, like cash transactions above a certain limit, cross-border transactions above a certain limit have to be reported. Similarly, the Negotiable Instruments Act, negotiable instruments like check, promissory note, where there is material alteration, how does the paying bank or the collecting bank they get protection? Certain important sections are there like section 143A. Okay, then we have the Foreign Exchange Management Act whenever we are dealing in any foreign currency, right? Any export, import, investing in securities. What is the role of the authorized person? What are the penalties for the contravention of the FEMA Act? Then we have the Payment and Settlement Systems Act. Any entity wants to set up a payment and settlement system. How are they going to apply for the registration? How RBI regulates and supervises their functioning. Let's say they want to make any change, again they will have to apply to RBI. Like this, the Payment and Settlement Systems Act works. Then the Unit 12 and Unit 13, the laws relating to securities and mode of charge, part 1 and part 2. So we'll be studying about the various types of mortgages, like a simple mortgage, conditional mortgage, equitable mortgage. And in the second part, we'll be studying about the other types of charges. So how does the assignment work, appropriation, hypothecation, set off, and then the last unit of module B, which is how do we create or register the satisfaction of charges. The different types of charges, floating and fixed. What is the procedure for the registration? The effect of registration and non-registration, right? These are the units in module B. Then if we talk about our module C, so I have included the different acts that we need to study. We'll be studying the integrated ombudsman scheme for the customers grievance redressal. So which complaints are non-maintainable, how the complaint is to be filed, what is the time period for the redressal. Then the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act, how do the MSMEs they get protection, right? If there's a delay in payment, what rights do they have? If the buyer makes a delay, What penalty do they have to pay? This is covered under the MSMED Act. Then we have the most important act of our module C, which is the SARFAESI Act for the recovery of loans due to the banks. So, without court intervention, what is the procedure for getting the unpaid dues recovered? So, reconstruction, enforcement of security interest, the central registration of security interest, satisfaction, the powers that the banks have, any person aggrieved, how can they make a complaint to the DRT? These things are there in the SARFAESI Act. Before the SARFAESI Act came the Recovery of Debts and the Bankruptcy Act. There the DRT and the DRATs are established. How do the banks recover their loans? Through the DRTs, these special courts. Then we have the IPC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So there's the Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process. How do the financial creditor initiate this? How do the, let's say, who are the persons who are entitled to make the application? What is the role of the interim resolution professional, the committee of creditors? These topics, they are always asked by the institute in the exam. Then we have other simple acts as well, like the Bankers Books Evidence Act, where the certified copies of the bankers' books are provided as documents. We have the Legal Services Authorities Act, under which the Lok Adalats are established at the different levels. What are the jurisdiction of the Lok Adalat? What is the procedure followed by them? The Consumer Protection Act, where we talk about how the consumers are to be protected against the unfair trade practices, unfair contracts, how the authorities are set up for this particular purpose, like the Consumer Protection Authority at central level, the Consumer Protection Councils at the central, state, and district level. Then we have the law of limitation, which talks about the maximum period within which, let's say, a suit for foreclosure or a suit for security interest should be filed by the bank. And then the tax laws, where we'll be in short discussing about the direct taxes, GST, and the commodities transaction tax. So these are the 10 acts which are covered in the module C. Then the last module, module D, basically deals with the commercial laws. So the Indian Contract Act, we'll be studying about the essentials of the contract, contract of indemnity, guarantee, bailment, pledge, and agency. Then we'll be studying about the Sales of Goods Act. So what are the essentials of the contract of sale, agreement of sale and an actual sale, conditions and warranties, what are the rights available with the unpaid seller. Then we have the Indian Partnership Act. So definition of a partner, relation of a partner with one another, relation of partners with third parties, can a minor be admitted to the benefits of a partnership or not, dissolution of a firm, effect of registration and non-registration. Companies Act 2013 covers the various companies which are registered with the ROC, right? So memorandum of association and article of association, the various doctrines like ultra vires, constructive notice that you need to study, how can you get the membership of a company, these things are covered. Then Limited Liability Partnership Act, what is the meaning of the limited liability partnership, what are the responsibilities of the partners, how can we convert any other company into LLP. Then simple acts like the Transfer of Property Act, which we will already be covering in module B as well, the different types of mortgages, the right to information, all the citizens, they can seek information from the public authorities. What is the procedure for that? What is the role of the public information officer? What rights do the citizens have if, let's say, any information is denied to them? So the right to information and obligations. Information Technology Act, which basically deals with the electronic governance, the certifying authorities, digital signature certificate, right? So terms like what is the meaning of asymmetric crypto system was asked in this exam cycle. Also, what is the meaning of getting an unauthorized access into a critical computer system? All right. And then the last unit of module D, which is the Prevention of Corruption Act. So, what role does the bank play? What are the powers to inspect the banker's book? How the offenses and penalties are determined? Fixing of the fine. All of these things are covered in your module D. So, this is the whole syllabus of our BRBL paper, how we are going to cover the modules, how we are going to study all the units. All right. So one option that you have is that you can enroll with the Foundation 3.0 batch, or simply you can join the CAIIB Super Elite all-in-one plan. So you need not worry about enrolling for all the different batches separately. In this all-in-one plan, you will get access to all the batches. So foundation courses, crack and crash, cracker batches, crash and cracker, revision batches, everything. All right, the capsules, all of these batches you are going to get access under the Super Elite plan, and financially speaking it is also more beneficial, right? So subscribe now for the course. The classes have already started, and we will see you in the live class. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the Oliveboard CAIIB English Medium YouTube channel. Why? Because on a daily basis, we will be bringing these revision sessions. We will be bringing the important notices related to your exam. So like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below if you have any doubts related to the exam, related to how to enroll or anything else. So I will see you now in the live classes. So thank you so much and all the best.